What's up, everybody? It is your boy PTK BLAM, and I am back on this beautiful Saturday afternoon with another Shop podcast. So first, I want to start off just saying thank you, everybody, for coming out, hanging out. You guys always show support and love for the podcast. I had a lot of great guests here. We got a full panel today, as you guys can see. Got some people who haven't been on in a while, so I want to go ahead and start with them. First things first, shout out to GKB, man. I hope you feel a little bit better, brother. Miss you on the show, man. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with our panel today. So I want to start with a guy who has not been in the show in a while. One of my good friends, known for a few years now. So go ahead and shout out yourself, Anchorman.
Hey everybody, it's Anchorman here, back with another episode, not on my own channel. I'm so used to saying that now. Oh man, but yeah, I haven't been on since episode 2?
Oh man, it's been forever. It's been forever.
Damn, that is a long time.
Yeah, it's been forever. Yeah, so for sure, man. Glad to have you, man. It's been a minute, man. So Anchorman, one of my good friends, and then next we got the albino rhino. Crap gamer himself, man. So go ahead and
what's going on, everybody? Happy to be here, back again. It's been a long time since I've been here. Looking at this, August of 2016. So that's a pretty long while, man. I appreciate you sending an invite and letting me get back up in here so we can chop it up.
No problem, man. Love to have you on, Crap, man. Always keeps it fun. Huge fan, man. You already know. So next, we got our boy. Yeah, we got our boy Jarhead, man. Shout out to yourself, brother.
Hey, people. Just glad to be here. Just ready for another show. See, always an honor to be invited. So let's get these topics going.
All right. Then we got the first lady of Xbox, as I always say, Miss She Wolf. Go ahead and shout out yourself.
I was hoping it was going to be last, because then I could have been like, see, he saves the best for last. But he didn't. I'm second to last. Hello. Hello, everybody.
That's it? Come
on. That's the gist of it.
Hello, everybody. She sounds like she sells cupcakes at the mall.
Super anti-climax.
I would make some damn good cupcakes, believe me.
Hey, no shame in that. Cupcakes are always good.
Nice. And then we got my boy Triple Chuck. Go ahead and shout out yourself, brother.
Hey, I think She Wolf was right. You know, you say the best for last. Yeah, I'm repping. Appreciate that, She Wolf. Well, look, everybody on YouTube and YouTube Buzz, you know, people on the panel, you know, BLAM, appreciate you for having me. Y'all here, everybody in the chat, I'm gonna be out there with you. This your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up.
Damn.
What he said.
For sure.
Let's get it to the bank.
We're gonna dive right into the topics, everybody. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys have not. Leave a like on the video. Appreciate you guys' support, man. Let's just jump right the fuck in. So we're gonna start with Call of Duty. As you guys know, Call of Duty was recently announced. They just said that they're gonna be doing Call of Duty World War II. So Call of Duty is getting back to boots on the ground. I made a video about this a few days ago, but I want to get you guys' opinions here on the panel. Is this a buy or is this a sell? Are you guys passing on this, or are you guys going to give Activision another shot at making a decent Call of Duty game? So we're going to start with you, Anchorman, on this one. Are you buying this World War II, or are you passing on it?
I'm reserving judgment on this one for a little bit, because for me, I'd like Call of Duty to be good again. I really like them to do. I just don't. I can't believe it just yet. When they announced it was World War II, I was like, okay, you're going back to basics. So they had my interest, and now that they've shown it off, and they showed off a couple little things here and there, they have my attention, but that attention can be taken away real quick. I got to see that they're going to change their microtransaction game, which is a very, very slim chance of that ever happening.
Yeah, that's Call of Duty.
I'm giving them a second chance if they do this correctly.
Okay, fair shot. That's kind of my opinion on it also too. I don't know, man. They've burned me for so long. The last good Call of Duty, in my opinion, was Black Ops 2. I didn't really mess with any after that, but that's just me. So, Crap, man, how you feeling about World War II? You buying that crap?
It's a done deal. It's pre-ordered.
Oh shit. Okay.
You know, yeah, it's Call of Duty. Let's be real. No, realistically, there's not many games that are offering that type of content. I mean, it's going to have a zombies mode. It's going to have co-op campaign. It's going to have a campaign. It's going to have multiplayer that's going to be active for years. It's definitely just going to be something. You know, they went back to boots on the ground. Not much more you can say about it. I mean, it's $60. You spend $60 going to a movie. You know, you go to the IMAX here and you spend more than that. So, there's not really to me any debate. It's just like you're doing it. I bought the last shitty ones. So obviously one that looks this good, of course I'm gonna buy it. You know what I mean? You're crazy. Oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm buying it. Like I wasn't even that sold on Battlefield 1 and I bought it.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
so
Okay.
this is obviously gonna be something I'm gonna get. I mean, game night, there's all that kind of stuff. There's just, you know, I do the streams on Fridays with Mooch. There's just a lot of stuff. Like the zombies are usually pretty cool. Going back to like the Nazi zombies and stuff like that. That was a really good memory. From back in the day. It's a 3-year development cycle. That engine looks like they tweaked the hell out of it. Scorpio obviously is going to be something that's going to really take advantage of this. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's definitely a day one buy. I'm super excited. I'm glad to see that they're not getting the hate. If you guys remember when Infinite Warfare was announced,
oh my god,
it was like the most disliked
trailer on YouTube.
Yeah. So you still got the Battlefield fanboys, like the super Battlefield fanboys that are bitching about it, but at the end of the day, this game started work well before Battlefield 1 was announced, so it's obviously not in competition or a ripoff. And secondly, they're different wars, so you know what I mean. Like that nips that shit in the bud right away. So yeah, it looks amazing. I can't wait to see more about it. The only thing that would mess it up for me, and I'd like cancel my pre-order, is if they took the health thing, like regenerated health, away from the multiplayer. I don't care about the single player, but leave the multiplayer with regenerating health like Call of Duty always has. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's a fair point. You know, and I did hear that mention about the health bar or whatever. So that'll be a huge change if they decide to do that, which I don't think they will, because that's everybody. If that's been in every game, everybody's used to the way that works. So that'll be a huge change. I think Halo do that at one point where they went from like health packs to regenerating health, or shield, something like that.
That was after the first one, though.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
this one's been like this since Call of Duty 2.
Yeah. So it makes sense. All right, cool, man. Good point. So we're gonna move on to you, Jar. Let's see what you got to say, man. World War II, man.
Yeah, man, I'm all over it. I honestly didn't know it was a co-op campaign. That's even better. I had no idea. So
there's a single player, and then supposedly there's a co-op, and then there's a Nazi zombie campaign.
Okay,
that's fucking awesome.
Well. So yeah, like I said, that's a ton of content. I mean, regardless.
Even the last Call of Duty, I think it got unnecessary hate. To be quite honest with you, the other one's pretty damn good. You know, I liked it, but yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna get it.
A great campaign. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It was a great campaign.
You paid $80 and you got a completely remastered Call of Duty 4, which is amazing. And you had a really good campaign with Infinite Warfare. I didn't like the multiplayer on Infinite Warfare, but it more than made up for it with you pay $20 extra and you got to play 2 campaigns and a really great boots on the ground Infinite Warfare. And they tweaked that so much, it was like a new game.
It was like, I thought it was a great game, but yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna get it. And like Crap said, it's Call of Duty. Who are we kidding? We all gonna get the shit.
It's back. I mean, come on,
I'm gonna get it. I'm all for it. I was afraid that they were gonna do the whole Legacy Edition and then fucking Modern Warfare Remaster tie it in. So I'm glad they didn't do that, because that just reeks of desperation. So yeah, absolutely, I'm all for it. I'm a big fan of Band of Brothers, one of my favorite shows of ever. So yeah, absolutely, a must buy. I mean, I'm gonna get it day one. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. All right, cool. I thought I'd hit a little bit more not transparency, but a little bit more. But it seems like everybody seems to be on board, man. I don't know. I'm still kind of up in the air, man. I got to see a little bit more. Shit's hurt me too much, man. I can't get what I can't just jump in like that, man. But She Wolf, you getting the Call of Duty?
Only because I have to.
Well,
I don't actually want it. Like, the only reason I have to get it is because GKB is going to buy it, so which then in turn ends up me having to own it. But frankly, I could kind of care less about it because it's supposed to be Sledgehammer, and yes, I understand the whole boots on the ground, the old style of Call of Duty everyone's so excited for. I understand that, and that's great. And Nazi zombies, that part will be cool. But I'm at a Sledgehammer because I wanted
Vietnam.
No. I wanted Advanced Warfare 2. That's my favorite Call of Duty out of all of them.
Really?
It is. Personally, it is. But it's because you can't camp.
You're talking about the David Spacey campaign, right?
Well, it's the EXO. Like, the difference between the space and then the EXO is the fact that the EXO is actually the built onto your body, and it explains why you actually have these kind of it's technology that could technically be diverse now. And Where the space stuff, obviously, that's a little out there, but
No, that was a
Advanced
great
Warfare
game.
didn't have that. And it came out around the same time Titanfall did, in which Titanfall is one of my favorite games of all time. So, it's just kind of that game style all put into one. And yeah, so I wanted Advanced Warfare 2, and I didn't get it. Instead, they were going boots on the ground. So I'm mad at Sledgehammer.
Well, I think it was Activision. They don't get to pick, unfortunately, I don't think.
Well, they're still at fault, and I still didn't want it.
All right, cool. So, good point. I mean, I don't know. I just COD's been like since Black Ops 2. I feel like it's just I don't know that the game's changed so much, and I feel like they've been kind of like finding what works and what hasn't worked, and they've kind of missed the mark in my opinion. The last few years, but I don't know. We'll see as more comes out about this game. We'll see. I may end up getting it if my son wants it. I'm probably really gonna get it if he wants it. But Chuck, what's going on with you, man? How you feel about it?
All right, say Blam, can I put on my Sony pants for a second? Can I put on these Sony pants?
Go ahead, man.
All right, say crap. I am one of the ones that's a Battlefield player. I am one of the people that was talking about Call of Duty. We want boots on the ground. We want boots on the ground. I even said we wanted boots on the ground. Now, since we got boots on the ground, I want a spaceship now.
But everybody's like that, though. That's the thing about like people and humans in general is the fact that you want something so badly, and then when it's a certain way in the past, you want that back when they do change it. But then when they actually deliver it, you're like, well, I don't want it now. I want what you just brought me before. Like, it's just the way humans are in general. So.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a Battlefield player. I just want to hate on COD. to be honest with you, it is a beautiful looking game. I mean, I never was a Call of Duty player, but this one here, to be honest with you, I mean, it looks beautiful. They got the boots back on the ground. I understand some people, saying it's hard to readjust back to how it used to be compared to being able to wall jump and stuff. But I'm guessing they're gonna have something in this game to compliment for the people that like those type of things to the people that like the old school boots on the ground. I'm guessing they're going to give you something in this game to make it not futuristic, but keep it, ground state and have it where you could, where you could adjust to it. I mean, you got to just give it a try. This coming from a Battlefield player, just give it a try and see if you like it. Then talk all the shit about it, because I will be right on side of you. Like, yeah, Call of Duty ain't nothing.
But see, I'm stuck more on the whole co-op thing. I really had no idea, so I'm really excited now for that. I think that's awesome. It's about damn time, to be honest with you.
And you brought up a good point there, Cobb. In particular, going back to going back to Black Ops 2, it's kind of hard. I got used to a lot of traversal stuff, not even just the whole having exosuit stuff, but just basic things like sliding and just being a little faster when you move. Like, just something about it. Like, they need to have those aspects in this game. It can't just be we're going back to World War II. We're not going to do any changes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they might bring it with they might make it where it's more closer in. With you might feel like you're moving faster because everything is jammed in it, and you still can slide. I mean, I don't see why they would take sliding out now. Double jumping and jumping off the wall, and doing the Super Mario where you throw the head out and you jump on the head, then you jump in the air. I believe they ain't gonna have none of that in this game, and disappearing and stuff. But I think it's gonna be more grounded. But it's gonna have a lot of assets y'all probably would like.
My only thing about all of this, though, is the fact that Sledgehammer was the one that brought the Exos after the whole Black Ops 2 thing. They were the first ones to change it to the futuristic, and they got bashed for it. It was probably one of the worst selling Call of Duty games. And then, so people were weary about buying the other ones, and now Sledgehammer gets it again, and now they're going back to, they're the first ones to go back to boots on the ground. So it's like, are they going to be smashed for that one as well? They're kind of always in they're
in a bad spot.
They are.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure, but like I said, I'm still reserving judgment till I see more from the game. It looks nice. I mean, most COD trailers look nice, They're always really good at putting on a show. That's for damn sure, at the very least. So,
I do have one quick question. I thought, what was it? Black Ops 3 campaign was co-op.
Yeah, it was.
It was. Yeah.
So it's not the first campaign to come co-op.
It was not only co-op, but it was horrible.
It was horrible, but
it was bad. And you had to play it on like a tougher level to like get any achievements for it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you had to play it on like extreme or like master or something.
I remember retreating the whole map like during the campaign with Hellhammer. We had like we literally were out of room to back up when those guys were started coming at you and stuff like with the suits and the everything. We were like, we got to get out of here, and then there's nowhere to go because you're just backed up the entire way. So
but this isn't. So obviously, this isn't the first one that's coming. That's going to be co-op. So
World at War had a co-op campaign. Yeah, like there was. I remember that being co-op because I remember beating it back in the day. Man, that was a long ass time ago. But yeah, that was kind of fun. Like you had to find like the tags or something like that. I forget what it was, but yeah, it was. That was pretty fun.
That was pretty fun. All right, cool. So nice opening topic, everybody. So as we usually do on this show, if you're in the if you guys are in the comment section right now or in the chat, go ahead and put the questions in the chat for the end of the show. I will try and grab a few questions. So we're gonna move on and go ahead on to the next topic. So this is one that I did a video on just today. So if you have not seen that video, go to my channel and watch it. So Nintendo is not going to do a show this year. They're going to be at E3. They're going to have execs there and probably be on the floor and show games and things like that. They're not going to actually have a show. They're going to do the Nintendo Direct again. It's kind of funny. Reggie did say like in March, he didn't elaborate. So I'm assuming that, he said that that's what he meant. Like we're going to be there like in person. But I just feel like for me in particular, I don't know about anybody else, with the Switch coming out and with the Switch's recent success, I feel like if you're going to do a show at E3, why not do it this year? With the recent success of the Switch, go on stage, show your games, which more than likely the media is going to love. Everybody's going to love it. It's Nintendo for the most part. And just blow the doors off. I understand the third-party support may not be there. You may not have enough content to fill 90 minutes. I get it. It's just that I feel like it's a missed opportunity on Nintendo's part. They're cool, but it's not. And this year, E3 is going to be open to the public. So I feel like it's going to be a lot. It'll be bigger, more people there, obviously. So I don't know. Let's get your opinion. We'll start with Crap on this. What do you feel about that, Crap?
I thought it was that they were going to do one for sure, but they're having a lot of success with the way they've been doing it. So I can imagine they're going to have a couple of nice little things, and they'll do like the after treehouse things or whatever. It just works. I'm sure it's probably cheaper from that way. They're going to have, if you look back to last year, they only had one game, but it was like the hottest game. Like apparently that was the game that you couldn't even get into play if you wanted to. So, they're going to like, they could have, if they break out like a Metroid and some of these games that people are really expecting, they'll be fine. Like that's what people want to see. They're already a hit. They've got this thing that is like this hybrid. They were ahead of the curve with this thing. Like I was a little bit skeptical, and then I wasn't able to find one. I only found one like a day and a half ago, and I haven't even had that much time to spend with it. But you can just tell it's just like something different and fun, and I can see why people are going to flock to this. And this thing is going to be the next Wii. And when I mean that, I mean in terms of like the people that it's going to transcend. It's not just like hardcore gamers like me are going to get it because it's new. But then you're going to have like the parents getting it, the kids getting it, because it does everything. Like we're in a mobile world, and guess what? It's mobile. But when you're home, you get even a better experience. It's like super simple. It's just like, I'm like, wow, nobody's thought of this before. It's absolutely amazing. Thing sells itself. Nintendo's always had like a really seriously good first party lineup, and guess what, when this thing starts hitting that 10-15 million sold mark, which it should do rather quick if they can keep up with the demand, third-party developers are going to start giving them third-party exclusives, and you can guarantee that's going to happen, and we're going to start seeing a lot of games ported over to it. They might not look as good as the other ones, but they're going to be there, and Nintendo has a big back catalog of games to kind of entice people and that nostalgia and stuff like that. So I think they're going to be absolutely fine. This doesn't really hinder them. It would have been nice to have a traditional conference from them, to go in. But hey, it kind of is what it is. And they're still going to have games that we're going to be able to see in like a kind of an event, whether it be, what's it matter if it's a live event that we're watching or if they do what they do in a much more produced, event. I'm fine with it either way. We're going to see something from them at E3, and it's going to show off games. And like, it's the same thing to me. Except for it's not going to be live. Like it's no bearing whatsoever.
All right, good point, man. I don't know. It's just that's just me, man. I'm hardline when it comes to stuff like that, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm
but,
just saying, like, to me, it just doesn't really matter. Like, if it's
Yeah.
like if Microsoft wanted to do something like that, right? That way,
no, they'll get crucified, man.
They
Come
get
on,
crucified.
dude.
they would
You're not
listen.
gonna get the same reaction.
Yeah, but listen, they would be able to totally control it. You could maybe show it to some people and get reactions beforehand. You could have it all fixed up, make sure that there's no kind of things contradicting each other, because people are going to look at what Microsoft does with the fine-tooth comb anyway. So I mean, like, to me, I'm just saying, like, that wouldn't be a big. I would love for them to do like Xbox Directs a few times a year instead of just the one conference. You know, I mean, yeah, they're going to have multiple conferences this year according to the XFest documents, but you know, just like the last year they did the one, and it was like people want more than that.
Yeah, no, I can completely agree with the fact that I think Xbox needs a like standalone smaller show, like at some point else during the year, maybe early in the year, or somewhere maybe around the holiday time or something like that. So I've always said that. I feel like they need to do that. Okay, cool. So Anchorman, what you feel about the them not being well? I don't want to sound crazy, not being at E3. They'll be there, but not having an actual like show or anything like that, like a big event.
Now, remind me, did they have a conference last year?
No.
Because I don't think they needed one, really. Now, I don't think they really need one because everyone kind of knows what's coming out. They've been very transparent of like, okay, this is coming out now, this is coming out now, it's coming out now. We know Splatoon's coming out. They basically already blew their load, so to speak, earlier this year. They already
like
told us
somebody else.
Like, they came out there, they showed us everybody, like, okay, we got Super Mario Odyssey coming out, we got all this stuff. We kind of don't need one. And you bring up a good point that it's open to the public. And last year, just so you have an idea of like what a floor plan looks like, you walk into one of the halls, mainly where all the exclusive console holders are really at. You walk in, and they got some of the media guys in there with little booths. But towards the back, in the middle, there's a straight road. On the left-hand side is Sony, and they have all their stuff there. But on the entire right-hand side, they had a whole Nintendo booth, which was huge. This thing's about maybe half the size of a football field. Like, all of it was just decked out in Legend of Zelda stuff. And there were all these different people you could play Legend of Zelda for like, I think it was like 45 minutes to an hour-long demo. They gave you a long time. They had maybe 100. I think they told us they had 100 systems set up in there. And people waited for 7 hours to play this game.
That's
people
ridiculous.
were wrapped all the way around it. Everything was walled off. You couldn't get in there just to look.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
People love that, and in making it public now, they have a much larger space than they did before. It's much bigger. It really is like, I think they took over where Oculus used to be last year, and they had some of the VR stuff there. There's more room for everybody, and with being public, they're being transparent. I don't think they need to have a conference.
Okay, cool, good point. I mean, they've never had. Well, they've had them in the past, but it's been a while. I just with me, it's more of the fact that with the Wii U, no need for a conference while that damn system was out. There's no point in having a conference with this. They pretty much let that thing kind of die on its own. But with the Switch, with it being new hardware, new tech, something cool, you can literally just get on stage and show real quick. I think it'd just be a good opportunity for them to go and show. It wouldn't hurt, is what I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt to have it. I get the Direct and saving money, and they don't really need it. Their games are already, super duper popular. I just feel like it would be a good opportunity for Nintendo to get on and, blow the doors right off of E3. If they bring out a Metroid or something like that, it's already going to be huge anyway. Why not just take that momentum and bring it on stage? Why not? You could even do a smaller show, like not as long as a show as Sony or Microsoft, something like that, and it wouldn't even matter because it's Nintendo. But I just feel like it's a missed opportunity. But Jarhead, it's on you, brother.
Everybody made great points. Do they have to? No. Should have? Yes, because unfortunately, Nintendo, they do whatever the hell Nintendo wants. They don't get any backlash. Everything they do, everybody's going to applaud it regardless. So, at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, it's fucking genius. They're saving a ton of money, and they're still going to get the same, crowd just going nuts. Personally, I think it's bullshit. I think they should do a show. Why the fuck not? That's the whole purpose of E3. But again, Is it going to hurt them? Absolutely not. Like Anchorman mentioned, they did blow their load, so to speak, but people are still going to go ape shit. I mean, the only company that will go to E3 with one fucking game and still kill. Go figure. So they'll be fine. But personally, as a video game fan, as a fan, I think it's bullshit. I would like to see a little bit of showmanship. Why the hell not? It's E3. That's the whole purpose of it. So, but it is what it is with Nintendo, man. They do whatever the hell they want.
They've always been that way, and I don't necessarily have a problem. And I get what Anchor crap we're saying about it's not necessarily needed and it's not going to. It's just that use that. I mean, they've been kind of bulletproof all generation. They kind of just go to the beat of their own drum and they do their own thing. And it's just, I mean, you might as well get up there. Reggie bring his ass on stage for 10 minutes. And,
exactly.
Show something, boom, and get off. Like, it doesn't require a whole lot of work from them. But I guess,
like I said, a little bit of showmanship. That's all. Not again, they don't have to. But me as a fan, it would have been nice to see basically the three motherfuckers go on stage and duke it out. That's the way I wanted to see it. You know what I mean? Competition is great, and now it just seems like Nintendo's like, no, you guys go ahead, kill yourselves. I'll stand right here. That's kind of boring. I want to see a three-way fight.
I got a question for Anchor and Crap. Quick question. So, what do you think if they would have done an actual show? What do you think the response would have been if they had went up there and actually had a show, Anchorman? You don't think it would have been huge?
I mean, I think having an address of some sort would be nice, but other than that, I mean, I can't imagine an already crowded market as it is lasting. You got to look at it that way, where E3 is crowded enough as it is. I mean, look, even Microsoft went to Sunday, to show they can share it with Bethesda. I mean, there's already enough people, and so what if you were doing it on a Monday morning, like everybody else? I mean, you get lost in it. It's you'll get a little bit of goodwill, but I can't imagine it being of a huge benefit to them.
I don't know. I just feel like with Nintendo, because they haven't been, it'd be like, fucking, Jackson 5 reunion or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be big for them. It definitely wouldn't hurt them.
The problem is, when was the last time Nintendo actually did a decent E3 show to begin with? Like, even looking past the directs that they've been doing the past couple of years, I can't remember the last good one, unless you got Reggie out there saying we're Nintendo, we're taking ass and kicking ass and making games again. It's gonna suck. I don't want to see Miyamoto out there swinging a Zelda sword. I want to see the games. And as long as their direct delivers that, and I also disagree with they blew their load. I think they've got a shit ton of games to show, and it's really gonna drive the second half of the year and the holiday for them. Yeah, like the Mario thing, great. But like I said, where's Animal Crossing? We haven't heard from that. Supposedly that was something that was in development on the Wii U, and that's probably been switched over. They've got a lot of heavy hitters that could be coming out this year. And not only that, but they also have the 3DS. They announced a new 2DS, which looks pretty kick-ass in my opinion. They've got a lot of stuff that they can talk about. It doesn't have to be a full 90 minutes, but I would expect that whatever direct they do might be an hour and a half anyway. So to me, like a highly produced direct, same thing. Cut out a lot of the cheesiness, because I thought that their Switch presentation was cheesy as hell. So cut out all that cheesiness. Just do, show the games, have people go up there. Okay, here's what's coming, blah, blah, blah. Here's the release date. It's all good. Get some games out. And make sure that you have these things out there. Plus, they might show off the SNES Mini or whatever. Win-win. People are going to go crazy for that thing. That thing's going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Like people, that's the one I want. Like everybody went for the NES Mini and that's cool, but the SNES is really where games started to kind of take off, in my opinion. So
yeah, good point. No, a lot of good points. I just think that it wouldn't have hurt them, obviously. I think we all agree on that it wouldn't have hurt them. It's just like Jar said, little showmanship. It'd be nice to see just Nintendo back on stage. But I get you, Crap. They have been, the shows have been a little cheesy. They've been sponsored by Crafts the last few times they've done it. They haven't been very.
Yeah, do you remember the Wii U presentation? They didn't even show the console. Like, Jesus, come on. Like, okay, that's one way to do it, man. Hey, here's our Wii U. So we tricked everybody into thinking it's just an add-on for the Wii, and nobody wanted it. Yeah, great job. I mean, that was, people talk about bad E3s. That was like one of the most horrible E3 presentations of all time. You don't show the console. Like, here's the console, and you know, we're not going to show it to you because here's this tablet. You know, it looks like a Fisher Price thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
you know, they've got to definitely have a great direct. A great direct will make people forget all about this other stuff, and they're going to still be there. Like Reggie's going to be there. People interview him. All the companies. Like they do the live stuff afterwards. They play by their own rules or whatever. I don't even really think they don't think they're in competition with Microsoft and Sony. Like, I get that.
Oh, no,
you know what I mean?
they've said that many times. They've made that very, very clear. Although, if you make a home console, you're kind of by default in competition, even if you don't.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. But look, it's clear Microsoft doesn't even look at them as competition since all their employees are tweeting Switch shit nonstop. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you don't do that if you feel threatened by that. So
yeah. No, absolutely. Okay, cool. Good point. So let's get to She-Wolf. I know we've been kind of going here, but She-Wolf, how do you feel about them not being at E3 or not having a show at E3?
Honestly, are we surprised? Like, Nintendo kind of beats at their own drum. They frankly don't really give two shits, I guess you can say, about, you know, pleasing to everybody. They kind of do their own thing. They're happy with what they do. And, you know, they, like, I remember a while ago they had said they were going to be there, and of course everybody jumped all over that. There's videos posted, comments said about, oh my god, they're doing a show, this is so amazing and everything. And now we're being told, well, yeah, you know, we said we were going to be there, but we never said we were going to do a conference. And you know, I'm just not surprised. They haven't done one. Like, they didn't really do one last year. They do the what is it, the Treehouse or whatever it's called?
The Treehouse thing, yeah.
You know, they do that, and then they have their stuff on the show, and they also do they did like this big conference kind of thing anyways for the Switch, where it was like just their own personal show that they kind of did worldwide. So really, they don't need to do an E3 kind of show. So I'm not surprised. They're still going to do fantastic because, again, it's Nintendo. They do their own thing.
Good point. So I think that's kind of what we got out of all of this. So Chuck, man, how you feeling, man? Do you think about them not doing a show or doing some type of like a on stage deal?
Okay, I'm kind of like in agreement with a lot of people and everybody on the panel was saying, like, it really doesn't matter because, you know, Nintendo is going to be, like they said, Nintendo going to be at their own drum. And then on top of that, like, you know, for the last year on E3, they didn't do it, and they still was the talk of the century. And the year before that, they had like Nintendo puppets up there, you know, like, so, you know,
weird.
that was, they don't need to do that. And then, you know, if they come up there this year, what they're going to do, show you another game like Milk the Cow or that mouth game where you got to put the controller in and out your mouth, and you know, just it's too rated X, so they don't need to be doing that anyway. what I say that what they should do, they don't really need to do no another E3, but if they got a Donkey Kong game finna come out, now whenever they come out with a Donkey Kong game, I want to see that at E3 because that's nostalgia. It's finest for me because if Donkey Kong come out, I'm going to get a Switch. I'm going to get it right then and there. But without that, you know what I'm saying, Mario, I'd have played him in the last, you know what I'm saying, for the last couple generations. Zelda, same thing. You know, Mario Kart, the Smash Brothers, but we ain't had no true Donkey Kong Country. Once we get another true Donkey Kong Country, they need to show that on a big stage and show all the good stuff about that. But, you know, Nintendo going to do what they do, and they going to sell regardless. So they don't need to waste money on the marketing trying to pay for a stage because it don't really serve them no purpose at this point of time, even though they have a lot of games to show and they have a lot of hardware, unless they're using like the, you know, Nintendo Switch to find some type of way to use it for some VR system.
No fucking way.
I know that just me bullshit.
Cool. I mean, good point. I mean, at the end of the day, like you guys said, I mean, they don't necessarily need it. I just think as a company like Nintendo with the Switch coming out, you know, you got all this momentum, you know, and I think the momentum is going to continue. Obviously, we all agree that it's not going to hurt if they don't do. Well, obviously, we know now that they're not going to, but if they didn't do one, but it's just I don't know. Just looking at it, it's like all that momentum you have, just one thing, you know, get up there and just show a fucking 10-second clip of Metroid or something and get off the fucking stage and, you know, you pretty much destroyed E3 at that point because that's what everybody's going to be talking about. Although I think, like Crap said, I think they're going to have more IPs than people think because Nintendo, I feel like, has been cooking up a little bit, you know, as far as
they
weren't
putting anything out on Wii U. I mean, like here and there, but and they could even put stuff like Mario Maker. They could port that to, you know, the Switch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they could do. Look, they're going to be introducing. It's pretty bare bones, to be honest with you. Like, I like the Switch, and like I just said earlier, but there's literally nothing on there. Like I was looking at the eShop, there's like 9 or 12 games or something like that, and they're all terrible pretty much. There's 2 games that people are going to get if you have a Switch, Zelda and Mario Kart. Like some people might get 1-2 Switch if you're like in a party situation, but that doesn't interest me in the least. Or the milking cows and stuff like that. I don't care about that. But like the Marios, the Zeldas, the Smash Brothers. That's another game rumored to be announced this year. A new Smash Brothers. I mean, that would be fantastic. Like, come on.
Yeah. No doubt. And I have no doubt that they're probably going. Some of that stuff is going to come to fruition. I'm hoping for Metroid. Because it's been way too fucking long.
Well, Retro Studios has a surprise up their sleeve, so we'll see what they have in it. And like we're in time for like a Donkey Kong. Not only that, but there could be some third-party surprises too. I mean, supposedly, Skyrim. What if they put something else? I mean, some people might go, oh well, Skyrim, whatever. But still, I mean, that was a Bethesda announcement at E3 last year. So I mean, that could be big. There people might want to take that on the go or whatever. Like me personally, I have it on Xbox, and I'm looking forward to the like Scorpio upgrade, obviously. So. But that's still pretty big. They could get anything. Like this thing, like I said, the Wii, even though it got a lot of shit for not having like third-party stuff, it actually did have a lot of third-party stuff. It was just like exclusive to it because it was such low powered. It had Call of Duty 4, it had like World at War, it had a lot of exclusive third-party stuff as well because it sold so well, and it had a lot of shitty shovelware, to be fair. But there's actually a lot of good games on it. I have quite a few games on the original Wii that were actually pretty damn good. And I think that the Switch has that capability once it starts selling well. And they say it's going to pass the Wii U in sales this year alone.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So, I mean, it's good for the industry to have them be successful. So, like, I'll never wish them, any of the companies that are, even if I don't like them, to go away or to do badly,
Yeah, and absolutely. And that's, obviously I'm not saying I wish Nintendo would go away or something like that. But that's just me. I feel like with the momentum and everything like that, it would have been something truly like great, like explosive. Like they would have came in E3 and just like showed out. Literally, they may still do it anyway without the actual like on stage presence. But no, it is what it is. So next topic, everybody. So I know we kind of went on a little run there, but next topic, guys. I saved this one for last because you guys know me, 60 minutes or maybe a little bit over that and I'm out. But the last thing I want to talk about, man, this has been the hottest topic probably within the past few days. Phil Spencer had some comments, not comments. He had I think it was an interview with Game of Sutra, and he said a few things about single player games. And some people took it a certain way. There's a lot of differing opinions about this, and unless you've been under a rock, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with the you crap on this one also too, because I feel like I saw you online today on Twitter and lots of conversations going on. So if you want to fill the people in on what it is, if they don't know already.
I mean, Phil Spencer did an interview and he said that he basically said that that the games, single player games like Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn are few and far between, basically, and it's kind of a gamble, and that the games that really do well in the industry are not these big story-driven games. And a lot of people and sites and stuff ran with that as any more story-driven single-player games, right? Which is ludicrous, considering that within that same kind of thing or whatever, when somebody brought that up to him, he goes, "No, that wasn't what I was saying." He was pointing out that in the industry, which he's right, that those types of games aren't the ones that are truly successful or stick around for a long time. And you can look up last year's top 20 games in the MPD, and what do you see on there? Games that are service games where you pay to, there's different things you can pay online, and that's what it is. Like, look at Call of Duty, Battlefield. You got your packs, you got your map packs. These games last years. Minecraft. These are the games that are consistently in the top 10 and 20 every single year. You might have a Horizon Zero Dawn in the top 20 for a month or maybe 2 months, but then it's gone. GTA 5 is still in the top 10.
Yeah.
That's a game.
And it's not for the story.
Yes, that is because of GTA Online. So it's the online aspect. That's why they're betting heavily on a game like Sea of Thieves. Forza does that with the, you buy the car packs. It's all about engagement and keeping people playing these games and these games lasting a long time. Even Phil mentioned this before. He said, there's a large contingent of people playing Infinite Warfare. And there's just the equally as amount playing Black Ops 3. So you can coexist with these different online things. But the point is, thanks to content dropping, you know what I mean? These games are lasting a long time. Whereas these single player games are kind of one and done. Like nobody's talking about Horizon Zero Dawn anymore. Like nobody's, you know what I mean? Like nobody's playing it. Like there might be the odd person, but if you were going to play that, you played it and you beat it. She-Wolf, GKB played it like the week it came out, beat it and returned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's basically how it is for everybody. You play it, you get it, and it's done, right? Some people might care like when they come out with some DLC, but I personally won't because with RPGs, unless it's something really, really good like The Witcher.
Like The Witcher. The Witcher's an exception. It's almost an exception.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, those add-ons were bigger than some games, so I mean that's understandable. But like with Horizon Zero Dawn, that's not engaging enough to draw me in like a year, 6 months or a year later. Like I don't care. But like when people buy map packs, you know, I play Gears, you know, I play Halo or Call of Duty or whatever. Those are the games that bring people back. Even the Forzas and things like that. Just look at this new Forza thing that's coming. That's hot. Like people are really excited about that. You know, the Hot Wheels stuff. So it's all about when he says games as a service, people flip out and lose their heads. And I've been saying this for a while. Microsoft is doubling down on what people buy. And what they buy the most and makes the most money are these games that offer kind of like a service. GTA 5s, Minecrafts, all that good stuff. It's not a bad thing. He's a single-player gamer himself, and he said so. So why people would just run with, oh, no, there's not going to be any more is just ludicrous. The point that I would stress is if you gamers like these single-player games so much, why didn't you fucking buy them? Because Quantum Break's looking at you. Recor's looking at you. Nobody bought these games. You know what I mean? Rise is looking at you. You didn't buy that shit. So stop telling me you want these types of games because they obviously have had single-player games and you didn't buy it. And some of them were pretty good. Some of them maybe not so good. But obviously, you know what I mean? That's the point in having multiple console owners. Like a PS4, it's like you can get one for $225. Xbox One, you can get one for less than that. The best thing to do is be a multi-console owner if you can swing it, and then there you go, all things covered because nothing's ever going to be making anyone happy. As far as I'm concerned, Microsoft is judged much harsher than any other company. They dissect every little thing that Phil says. It's this, it's that. Oh no, it's not. I'm going to take the M out of my name because Phil said no more, you know, no more single player experiences, even though he never said that. You know what I mean? And even corrected himself on Twitter. He's like, no, I never said that. He said so. But hey, let's all flip out because it's Microsoft, right? I mean, any other company can do that. Or look, nobody's bitching about Sony not having any kind of multiplayer exclusives, right? Because they're all like, oh, well, the third parties handle that with the multiplayer stuff. Well, guess what? The third parties are doing much better RPGs, in my opinion, than the first parties. But everybody's still bitching at Microsoft saying, hey, you don't got the fucking third party. Like, come on. There's a big double standard here, and it's bullshit. So as far as I'm concerned, Phil's the man for the job. He's brought Xbox back. We're getting the best console, the most powerful console. They're taking us forward into the future. We've got a console that's coming that's making PC people jealous. It's making other console people jealous. All we got to do is relax, wait for the games, because guess what? The games that are coming this year are the third-party games are the ones that everybody's going to be looking forward to. The Battlefront 2s, the Red Dead 2s, the Destiny 2s, the Call of Duty World War 2s. These are the games that are going to be the best on Scorpio, so people need to quit bitching. We're getting the best versions. As far as I'm concerned, what more can you ask for? You're going to have exclusives coming. I mean, it might not be a ton, but guess what? They were putting out a lot more than Sony at the beginning of the generation, and nobody gave a shit. Right now, they give a shit. So,
good point. Good point. So I'm glad I let you vent, crap. Glad I let crap vent, man. Yeah, but there's a lot of good points, man. I mean, the man did come on Twitter and kind of clarify, even though he shouldn't have had to. I don't know why he even bothered, but he's pretty engaging, whatever. He'll answer just about anybody's questions. So he did come on and say, that's not what I meant, like industry-wide, and everybody just kind of took off, went left field with it. So, Anchorman, I know you probably saw what was going on Twitter, man. What was your take on the whole situation?
Well, actually, I woke up after just having a long game night session last night till like 3 a.m. I woke up and I saw this complaint. I was like, what? Wait, so I read up on the issue in particular, and I was like, this is not. I don't get it. Like, why is this such an issue? I mean, because it's obvious multiplayer games are the ones that everybody keeps playing. And so I went to my Xbox, took a picture, and of the most played games on Xbox, and the only single player only game that was even in the top 20 was Fallout 4, and that was back on like the 17th slot. And the next closest game was Skyrim. And then after that, like you couldn't find a single player only game for like 50 games later. People are playing multiplayer games or games that have a multiplayer contingent, and this is not people crying over not having a single player only game like Legend of Zelda or Horizon Zero Dawn. It's ludicrous to complain about this sort of thing because they really don't make a lot of money. And like keep in mind, for every Horizon Zero Dawn, there's an Order 1886.
Yeah,
it's not every game that's successful.
Good point. You know what?
Imagine if you're Microsoft and you're going out there and say, okay, we're going to invest $50 million into this game, and you put all that money into it, or let's say hypothetically, they put all that money into Scalebound, and Scalebound's crap. It's like, we just wasted all that money. We're not going to make that money back. And yeah, you might get a contingency of people who are like, oh, we love that game. It was great. But for Microsoft, they're more focused on making a game that's going to be profitable, keeping within budget and that kind of stuff. And Sony's also said in the past that they're fine with making games that are going to lose money. They said, like, what was it, 4 out of 10 games actually make their money back? And it's how they operate, and they're willing to take that loss. And Microsoft and Xbox, I believe, is on a little tighter of a leash than that. So they have to make sure that what they're putting out there is making money.
Yeah, good point. I mean, that just sums it up at the end of the day, man. It's a great way to start, man. Definitely. So, Jar, I know you saw Jar, man, going in on Twitter earlier, man. Going back and forth. Shout out to Wendy, man. Wendy's a good dude, man. It was just
man. Me and
good
Wendy,
conversation.
We always talk, man. It's never toxic. It's never disrespectful.
Yeah.
I like going back and forth with Wendy because I like what I respect what he says.
Yeah.
But Crap and Anchorman just pretty much said the whole shebang. Is one of those things like, okay, people tend to forget that these single player games that Sony finally got out, they've been delayed. What happened when Microsoft was the only one pumping out games? Oh, I remember. It was genius that Sony didn't have any fucking first-party games. Remember that shit?
Yeah, literally article that said that. Also genius that they didn't have a 4K Blu-ray player in the Pro.
Exactly, because, it's fucking amazing. Now, we can bet money right now that after E3, it's going to go right back. It's all about the third parties. It's going to be about Destiny, Call of Duty, and Red Dead. We can bet money on that. So, this argument, which was part of the reason why I guess it lasted so long. I'm not calling out Wendy or anything like that. It's not like that. Part of the reason we went back and forth so long is because it's a never-ending conversation. The goalpost is just going to get moved again. No matter what Phil says, some people are saying, oh, but maybe Phil shouldn't talk. Phil can say whatever the fuck he wants. He didn't say anything that isn't true. How many players does Overwatch have? 30 million fucking players, man. 30 million. Anybody with any business common sense, well, yeah, multiplayer games make you more money is common sense. Yes, we all want single-player games, of course. They're making them. Phil never said they're going to stop making them. He just stated something that is true, and as always, it just turns into this big fucking Chicken Little effect, man. It gets old. It's just fucking dumb at this point. Because after E3, mark my words, it's going to go back. It's all about the third party.
Yeah,
that's all it's going to be again.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And another thing, Jar, I don't mean to cut you off, but another thing I wanted to point out was the fact that, this whole back and forth, the single player, and the same thing happened. Crap, you can probably back me up on this. Remember when Bloodborne came out and Microsoft didn't have anything coming out around that period of time?
Yeah.
And we had the same conversation 2 years ago. The same narrative was brought up. Oh, there was no single player games. Microsoft, what are you doing? There's no single-player games. Because Bloodborne came out, sold well at first. It got high Metacritic at first. And the same conversations were had. Then about 2 months later, that shit all went away once E3 came around. So I just feel like this is kind of a reoccurring issue. I don't know why anybody would make it a big deal.
Well, you know what happens? Like, you can look at what Sony's done, like the early part of this year, right? And people want to talk about games like Nioh or some of these other games. The fact of the matter is, some of the games that they've released now were games that were announced on the PS3 years ago and finally get released, or remasters, or games that let's just be honest here. Sony has has an obvious presence in Japan. So these Japanese developers are choosing not to put the games on Xbox because they have no presence in Japan. So right now, just by default, Sony are getting these games. I'm of the opinion that Phil went over to Japan. They see how easy it is to port stuff over now. I think, according to the XFest documents, they're going to do a Tokyo Game Show. I think they're going to announce a bunch of games that are going to come, probably games that were thought to be exclusive to PlayStation because there's no reason for them not to come.
Miss Walker.
Like Sony does not own these IP, right? They're only on the PlayStation because it probably didn't behoove them to try to port the games. But now we know they can port games in like a day. You know, you put a couple people on it, there you go. What do you have to lose? You know, it could sell 100,000 copies and you're still going to make money off that, you know? So yeah. And also the sales numbers tend to be skewed too when it comes to stuff. Like people would have you believe Persona 5 was this big success. Right. But here's the thing. They shipped 1.5 million units. 550,000 of those were shipped last year to Japan. So less than 1 million units since the launch shipped. So how many of those were in the US and how many of those were the rest of the world? And how many of those were actually sold? So once you break it down, it doesn't really look that successful to me. You know, like when you're touting 60 million consoles out there and you're selling 1 million, that's not a big day to me. And you know what I mean? Like that would be big on the Switch with only a few million out there. But when you're touting 60 million, this isn't 2014 anymore. We're 2017. You know, you got 60 million consoles. If you're not hitting 5 million on these, I don't really consider that a success, especially for PlayStation.
But it's not even that. And I'm sorry not to cut you off, but back to Persona 5. I'm a huge anime fan. I've been watching a lot on the game. I'm sorry. I don't see how this game got 9s. It's not a bad game. I'm not bashing on it. I really don't see how this game got 9s. So, you know what I mean? So everybody goes ape shit about it, but nobody buys them. And let's flip the switch real quick. Why isn't anybody calling out Sony for making fucking Killzone to compete with Halo? Where's the multiplayer component? Why nobody?
Killer.
Yeah, exactly.
They actually called it that back then.
How many years has it been since we finally a GT is coming out, which by the way doesn't even look that fucking great for all the time that it's been in the oven supposedly. So why you know what I mean? So it gets all that single player games. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, I mean,
really?
look, they say Xbox is diverse, but you know they put out an RTS. They're going back and they're like, okay, well, if Voodoo Vince Remaster does well, hey, we could see a sequel. They've said it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're putting the fish in the hooks in the water. It's up to us to bite. If we don't bite, then we can't really expect to do it. And I said this a long time ago. I'm like, look, Recore was a $40 game. It's interesting. Yes, it kind of drug on because you had to get the fucking cores and scrounge up cores to open up the room. Like that was a pain in the ass. Like you fix up some stuff on there, but that had potential.
It was still a good game.
Yeah,
a much better game than people wanted to give it credit for.
Oh yeah, like that. It got shit on for being an Xbox game. You know what I mean? Like it was they were running it on Unity engine. You know, if that was running on something like Unreal 4, it would have been much more better received. Like Unity engine's like a really heavy indie engine. And there was some issues like some load times. But you know what's funny is Horizon Zero Dawn and Destiny have extremely long load times, longer than Recore, and nobody says shit about that.
Even my beloved Witcher. Have you ever tried to sit and going from one area to the other?
If you ever die in that game, wait,
you can make coffee and a sandwich, and that shit is still loading.
Hey, they used to tell you this. I forget which PS3 game it was. But it was like when you were installing it, they told you to go make a sandwich or something like while you were waiting. Like,
that's bad.
Like, yeah, that was funny.
That's crazy. All right, cool. So She-Wolf, let's dive into it, Mama. How do you feel about the whole situation?
Honestly, I haven't been much on Twitter today to really know much about what was going on with all of it. So by the sounds of it, you guys covered it all.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Yeah.
I'm just gonna take the side of you guys. You're all right.
All right, cool, no problem.
She-Wolf just treated us like she probably tells her kids, yeah, whatever, go play, go away.
It's okay, don't worry, Mama's having mama time.
Yeah, that's exactly how she just treated us.
Damn, we got son right there. All right, cool. I'm cool with that. All right, Chuck, man, how do you feel, Chuck?
All right, I kind of, you know what I'm saying, I feel the same way like everybody else is feeling about like with Phil when he say something, they try to dissect it. But you know what I'm saying? With Phil, he be so precise with his words when they try to dissect it, they pollute it just to try to make something bad out of it. Like when I was hearing him saying about the single player experiences, like I tell everybody to this day, I'm 90% multiplayer, 10% single player. I mean, I might play a single player here and there, but I runs back to the multiplayer, and that's what Xbox is known for. That's why you got so many Xbox Live accounts, and with PlayStation, you only have like a couple of PlayStation Now accounts where people don't really play like that. But the whole concept of it is what Phil was saying was he trying to break, like, you know what I'm saying, bring it to a whole new generation, just come to a different level. He was looking at like the single player experiences, how he could make a single player experiences go from just being a movie to a sitcom. Because, you know, a sitcom could run for years and years and have seasons. So, okay, we have this single player experience that could continue on to keep people interactive into this, like, you know, not say how Tall Tales do it, but you know what I'm saying, kind of have like that's a roadmap of a situation you could do where you can have a single player experience, but don't just make it episodic, but just kind of make it like story driven, where you could keep continuing on and just keep bringing more episodes out so people can keep on the single player experience. He wasn't just saying it like as in, okay, multiplayers is everything, no more single players. He was saying we need to, it's a new generation, you know what I'm saying? We have to evolve with our single player experiences. We can't be doing the same thing we did for the 360 and the PlayStation 3, where you just come out with a big game and just have it start from the beginning, play to the end. You might put in 8-9 hours into it, and
that's it.
And that's it. Now, me personally, I'm not a person that just go for achievements all the time, but they had to try to do something to keep people going back to the single player games to play them again. Because once you beat a game, you've seen the story. You know this person here backstabbed this person, cheated on this person and killed this person. You know the whole story. So once you know the story, you're not going back to it to play it again, because it's not as interesting as it was the first time when it was your first experience. Like a multiplayer, you could keep playing it over and over because it's all about the challenge you have in playing against people or playing with people. So that's what he's trying to change, the whole aspect of single player experiences. It might not just be that he might have a single player experience, could be a multiplayer single player experience, like a story driven multiplayer game that could be episodic. You know, it's a whole different things that he could do, and people took it the wrong way. You know, when Phil Spencer say anything, they try to take what he say and try to find whatever they could take to make it a negative. The only thing I got to say about everybody in the media, everybody that's talking down, you know, the ponies, not the PlayStation people, but the ponies, you know, the ones that sip the pony juice. Say, She-Wolf, can you do me a quick favor? She-Wolf,
What's that?
mute your headphones. Not your microphone, your headphones.
Why?
He's gonna use colorful language.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go
earmuffs.
Nuke them. I'm finna
Oh
go
hell,
nuke 'em.
I'm a woman. I can handle it.
All
Don't
right.
treat me like no baby.
She's an army wife, dude. She's heard it
Okay,
all.
well, they need to get on an airplane. Everybody load them up on the airplane, go flying in the air like Noah's Ark, line them up 2 by 2, go 100 miles in the sky, push everybody out there, and everybody fall and land on Phil Spencer dick.
What the?
You wanted me to cover my ears for that? I grew up watching horror movies.
She's
Yeah,
probably
she's
heard
watching
words.
horror movies. Apparently, I don't know what that is. But
That sounds like a porn, but that's another subject.
yeah,
But yeah, but
Hey,
back on the,
Wow.
I just want to point out something real quick that Phil Spencer said in this interview. He says, right now the focus is really on the content that we're building. I know I get some community pushback on our first party slate and what position we're in. And I want to say to people the same level of commitment you felt from myself and from the team as we've evolved platform over the last 3 years, as we've evolved service over the last 3 years, as we've evolved and innovated hardware over the last 3 years, is going on with our first party as well. I don't want to go. Yes, I don't want to go and pre-announce a bunch of things, but we are upping our investment. There's no doubt about that. So give the man a little bit of break, because he's only been in office for 3 years, and he's totally gotten us things that we've asked for: backwards compatibility. You know, the most powerful console. Even the S is a brilliant console. Even if the Scorpio wasn't a thing, the S by itself is an amazing
the S is
console
the
in and of
shit,
itself.
and it's actually competing with the Pro, because the Pro, I'm sorry, doesn't even do that much 4K shit. Not as much as it should have.
Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of half-assed, and Phil could have jumped the gun and came out with the Xbox Type Pro last year, but he decided to wait. And I think they're going to really slam the, drop the mic with the $399 price point at E3. I think that's going to be huge, and people are going to be, very skeptical in there, because I don't think they're going to announce a ton of surprises, but I do think what they are going to announce, because they don't want to do. Look, Like, we know what Sony's going to have at E3 because they've announced this shit like years in advance, right? So when we see God of War, The Last of Us 2, or Days Gone, or Gran Turismo Sport, or Shenmue 3, or Death Stranding, yeah.
But remember, crap,
Detroit.
that's genius now. But when Microsoft did it, why did they announce, that Dragon game too early? Why did they announce, a Sunset Overdrive?
And you could tell Phil is overreacting a bit when he's like, oh, I don't announce it that far out. I think if you're a year to 18 months away from release, go ahead and announce that shit. If it's 3 years or 4, like, they shouldn't have announced Crackdown when they did. They shouldn't have announced Scalebound when they did. They shouldn't have announced Phantom Dust when they did. They shouldn't have announced Fable Legends when they did. You know what I mean? Like, that's early on mistakes, and I think he realizes that, but I think he's being a little bit too overprotective right now, where he's like, well, I don't really want to announce this because what happens when this happens? He's already got that reputation as this Axeman.
But I think at this point, crap, I think he's just trying to cover the leaks, man. The past 3 E3s, dude, the whole fucking show leaks.
Yeah, damn those bastards that leaked that stuff. Fuck them.
Yeah, crap.
Yeah. Fucking crap.
It's tough to keep those leaks indoors, man. It's really, really tough to keep that shit out of the media.
Hey, he doing a hell of a job this year, though. I mean, I swear he must got a gun to everybody's head. Like, look,
to me that's making E3 even better because I don't know, and I want to be surprised. Like I'm still expecting unannounced. Listen carefully. Single player games. That might fucking happen.
I got a quick question. I don't want to cut you off, Jar, but I got a quick question. For it. Anchorman.
Yeah.
So about the I know you're a single player guy too. You like the whole single player aspect. So do you feel like, well, I kind of want to ask this question before because Jar was gonna bring it up. Is it that I mean, when did people get so invested in single player games all of a sudden? Because there's this like big swing for these single player games, like all
when
of a
Sony
sudden.
and Nintendo had them and Microsoft didn't. Oh, sorry, that was for somebody else. But yeah, that's basically the answer.
Go ahead, Hank.
And timing is a big effect on this. Like if they had set this interview up like 4 months ago, nah. You wouldn't have heard of Pete. This would have gone under the radar. But it's the fact that Legend of Zelda just came out, Rise of Zero Dawn came out, which are two very good single-player games. That's why it's getting all this attention. I mean, in single-player games, though, we've all played single-player games. Like that's kind of like the whole fiber of gaming. That's where everything came from, ultimately. But again, gaming is not only comprised of single-player games. I think there is a component of people who are trying to harp on this because it is something that Microsoft doesn't have right now. And
because it's because they're not releasing at the same time as the other companies. That doesn't mean they don't invest on it. That doesn't mean we might have something coming. And who in their right mind will say that? That's the part of the problem. You know what I mean? That all of a sudden, oh man, Microsoft is done. They're only gonna do service games, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, I don't think I know he wasn't saying that, but
no, I don't mean Anchorman. I don't mean Anchorman. I'm talking about the whole Twitter sphere.
Everyone else, yeah.
Hey, I got a quick announcement. I want to if everybody who likes single player experiences, just single player experiences, hit the like button. On the other hand, if you're a multiplayer person, I want you to hit the like button. And if you like multiplayer and single players, hit that like button. Y'all choices are limited.
I just go by a rule, man. You don't count another man's money. My thing is, everybody's like, well, Sony's doing it. Like, I don't like that. If it's an argument about like, I would like to see Microsoft do that, but you're doing it. Again, not anybody in particular, but the whole reaction is based upon because Sony's doing it. That's the shit that I don't agree with.
I think there's two different questions, and I think people are getting them confused. And I thought about this earlier. There's two questions here. There's, okay, Microsoft doesn't have any single-player exclusives. Then there is Microsoft doesn't have any single-player exclusives that I like, or I'm not interested in the ones that they do currently have, because those are two separate questions. And I think a lot of people have just been saying, well, they don't have any. There are none. Well, yeah, it's been kind of a lull. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any coming or there haven't been any.
Exactly.
So I think people kind of get that misconstrued. And I think if you're going to say that, and it's okay to say, well, I don't like the offering that they have, that's fine. Like, if you don't like the games, like Crap said earlier, you can go out right now and buy a PS4 for less than $250. There's options there. That's the beautiful thing about the situation. That there are options. If you're not liking what you have currently in front of you, you can go out and purchase the other system and play what they have. So I just think that we need to make a distinction between the question, because people are getting that shit all mixed up and people are getting pissed off for the wrong reasons, even though the man said that that's not what the fuck I was talking about. Like, you get me think about this. He is a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. Anytime he says that, he's talking industry level. He's not talking on just on a one fan base. He's talking industry-wide talk. That's what CEOs do. They don't think on a small level. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't make much sense to me when I saw it, and I didn't really understand or get what the fucking issue was, but I don't know.
Look, man, pretty sure come E3, this is all gonna be behind us again, and it's gonna be about, oh my God, Destiny is the greatest shit since sliced bread, Call of Duty, PlayStation deal, oh my God, Red Dead. It's the same fucking shit. And then Sony might release God of War. Oh my God, what is Microsoft doing? They don't have any single player games.
Just remember that they had Rise, which had a ton of potential, but nobody bought it.
Exactly. Rise is the fucking amazing. To this day, still looks better than most games out there still.
And that's another thing too. And Crab brought up a good point. Guys, you cannot complain if your ass didn't go buy it. Please stop throwing your ring in a hat if you did not support the IPs that we were getting, because like I told Crap earlier, and I'm pretty sure every single person on this panel can attest to the fact that we had the same conversation a year or two ago about these single player games. And if you're not going to get behind them and support them, I don't want to hear shit about we don't have any, because they're not going to make them if we're not buying them. It's as simple as that. So
to be fair, I think that Microsoft is kind of doing a little bit of both. Like Halo, they're going back to a more Master Chief story driven game. So you'll have games that have both. I don't know if they'll ever do like a pure just like single player game unless that like Fable comes back. But even that could have some kind of multiplayer co-op or something, Yeah. Because I feel like.
But co-op is different than as a service, though.
Yeah, but I just feel like even games like The Last of Us and Uncharted have multiplayer because these developers want people to keep these games and not trade them in, and those are the types of things that keep people coming back. Is like DLC, that's like a necessary evil, and same thing with like packs and things like that. So I think that whatever Microsoft does in the future, you will see that kind of thing. Like, look, Sea of Thieves technically is the perfect game, although I can't say much about it. It's the perfect kind of setup for one of these games, right? Like the Destiny crowd, the Division crowd, the GTA Online crowd. Like those are the people that are going to really, really kind of, I think, gravitate towards this game. Like that game seems like it could have life for a long time. Like what Fable Legends was going to be. Like, remember they were like, we're going to support this game for 7 years. It's going to constantly get updates. Like that's what they're trying to do. And then somewhere along the way, things kind of fell apart with that game. But like obviously Phil knows what he's talking about. He knows the industry, and it just makes sense to have games that are going to make you money. Because it is a business. So like if you're like how many times we're never going to see a sequel to The Last Guardian or another game from that studio most likely, because that game took 10, 11 years to develop and then it really kind of flopped, you know what I mean? So I doubt we see anything from that. Like the only reason why it ever came out was because Sony was afraid of the backlash if it didn't, and they got tired of being the joke or whatever, so they released it. But I think that Microsoft I think they've got some surprise stuff. They got that they just formed a partnership with that developer. Not many people were talking about it. I did a video on it. Yeah. That Gobo, I believe. What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were the ones that did Disney Infinity and stuff like that. And they could possibly do Lego games or Mega Bloks games or whatever. So that could be some, I don't know. It could be, who knows? But obviously they have things that are in the works. It's just being a little bit more patient with it and not like this whole now kind of mentality, because we've been getting plenty of games, and we're gonna, like I said, the third-party games have been on fire. You know what I mean? So and we're gonna get plenty of those, and we're gonna have the best way to play those and the best network and controller. So like people should just like calm down. It's okay to question them. I'm not knocking that. Like if you are like, well, that I'm unhappy over this, well, fine, that's on you. But at the end of the day, it's like, don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So,
a good point that I kind of want to bring up is look at Bethesda as like arguably the king of single player games. Every single player game has been trying to figure out a way how to keep people from turning that game back into for used sales. They're trying to figure out some way to keep you playing in some regard. I mean, and look at, as an example, look at Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 really had a lot of it's a great game. I played it, and there's so much replayability to it. There's like different power sets and like playing like high chaos, low chaos, doing all that kind of stuff. And that game didn't sell that well. It's like it's not a single player only game is not guaranteed to sell well. And if your whole business model is based on just doing single player games, you got to find something to keep people interested. And most of the time it's going to be RPG.
Yeah, Remy is the perfect example, and I love him to death. Quantum Break, Alan Wake, Max Payne, the first ones, but you know some about, like you said, the single player experiences don't work. Not like how Crap was saying with the Sea of Thieves. You know, I ain't get a chance to play it, but from what I'm seeing, it's gonna be something similar to Ark with all the stuff that Ark have to just captivate you to keep, you know, it took all the bad parts out of Ark and just kept all the good stuff. So if they add like some type of story mission in it, that'd be like the perfect example of what they need to start doing with single player experiences.
Yeah. Look, go ahead.
I played it too, so obviously we can't say much about it, but it's that game has so much potential, and like Crap said, it fits right into exactly what Phil said as far as games being like the service and being able to do different things and utilize games in a way that they have not before. You know, the game will be running for, you know, a long time, and it'll be something that people can come back to, updates, things like that. So go ahead, Crap.
I was just gonna say, like, that game, like, even though I can't say much because I am in the alpha and stuff, but if you can go to the Sea of Thieves thing and look at the stuff for yourself, like, everybody has fun to play. I don't know anybody that has played this game and not like laughed and had a good time and had fun with it. So I think this game's going to be huge. They just got to make sure that they have enough content, because the lack of content at launch is the things that really hampered stuff like Destiny and The Division. Like, it was good at the start, and then the content gradually, because it wasn't there, meant that people changed those games, got off those games pretty quick. They can't do that with Sea of Thieves. But I think that could be like their next big franchise. You know what I mean? And again, like, I'm looking forward to seeing boundaries pushed with like Crackdown 3, you know, like the cloud finally getting to see some of that stuff. And, you know, I think it's we're in for a treat, because we're getting this unique stuff like State of Decay 2, you know, obviously Forza 7, you know, like, so we're getting that stuff that's new, because we're not getting a Halo or Gears this year. And we're also getting these great third-party stuff as well. So we're covered. I mean, when people are like, you guys don't have any games, and I'm looking at my pins and I'm like, I got so many games, there's not enough time for it all.
Yeah, that's like the same scenario this Christmas season. I mean, me personally,
before you start, She Wolf has to go, everybody. So I just want to say thank you, She Wolf, for coming out today. We appreciate it. Tell GKB we said hope he feels better. Love him.
Yeah, definitely. I'll make sure I'll tell him, and hopefully I'll see you guys all on game night. But
yeah, just throw your plug real quick before you go.
Okay. Game night. Okay, you can find us on Game Night. It's always on Xbox Live. We're playing Black Ops 2 tonight. It starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, so everyone is welcome to join, and it's always fun. Party chat is open to everybody. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at XSheWolfX with you, not a no, if you want more information on that. So thanks, everybody.
All right, She Wolf. Take it easy, love. All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, so go ahead, Chuck. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off.
What was I saying? I know it was something.
It was something.
Yeah, it was something.
All right. Well, I know. I think it was about the Sea of Thieves. You know how you were saying about like the Sea of Thieves, and I mean how y'all can't really talk about it with the content that come out. But like the perfect example would be for content would be like Rainbow, that new Rainbow game that came out. You know what I'm saying? It actually, if it went, and when it came out, it wasn't no sprint. It was a marathon, so it might have started slow, but it just kept running and kept running. And a game like that when you just keep dropping content, and adding different things to it, that's what making this gaming industry gonna grow and to be even bigger than what it was. That's like, back in the Nintendo 64 days when you first had 4 controllers and you were able to play Mario Kart with 4 people, or 007 with 4 people. Then he had the Xbox when he bust the industry wide open with the online playing, like literally being able to play online. I think this is like the next step of evolving in gaming.
Good point. Good point.
That's a real good point. And Rainbow Six is a great example. That game, like when that game came out, like it was in the top 10, and then ever since then it dropped. Like it wasn't even in the top 50. It was gone. And all of a sudden, like it was over time. It just, I think it was at one time they had the free weekend, and like it was sold at half price. Everybody was playing it. It did real well, and now it's in the top 5.
Yeah,
it's doing real well.
Yeah, the game. Yeah, it's like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So one thing I want to do,
this multiplayer game, people play them.
Yeah.
There's
so one thing I want to do.
2 million active users on Xbox. Oh shit, my bad.
Okay, yeah, crap is biting a little bit. Okay, so one thing I want to do before we get off, because we're running a little bit over, obviously, guys. So I want to get at least one question in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the show for everybody. So I know if you guys have a question, go ahead and throw it at us right now. Any question, doesn't matter what it is. I'll go ahead and pose it to the panel, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll let everybody get their mic drop in, or whatever the case you want to call it, and then we're gonna go ahead and end it. So if you guys have questions in the chat right now, please put them there, and I'm gonna take one. Because I'm kind of over time here. I think there was one.
There was one earlier.
Yeah, there was one earlier.
But it's far back. I think it was a Nintendo question. I think it was from...
That was a Sony question. It was a Sony question.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, it was a Sony question. He said, and this is from Sadiq. If I'm saying that wrong, man, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thanks for coming out. He said... oh, no, that wasn't it. Let me go back. I think it was from him, though. But let me see. I think he had another question too. Damn it! It was pretty far back here. It mentioned, I think it was about Sony's E3. I think he mentioned about with them having so many third-party marketing deals, is that going to eat up like their show at E3? So if anybody wants to take a stab at that, here it is. He just said. So shout out to Sadiq or Sadiq if I'm saying that wrong. He said with so many marketing deals, third-party marketing deals, Sony is. Now, how would they time their E3 show? Like, will that take up too much of their time? You think that's going to be a problem? So, Anchorman, whoever wants to take a stab at that question, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of all up in the air, really, because I mean, Star Wars, EA is doing their own show again. Sony might not do Star Wars at theirs as anymore. Like, I don't think it's going to be a problem in terms of stage time. I think eventually, from a developer perspective, they might not want to do a third-party marketing deal necessarily with Sony, for at least for this holiday, because there's a certain level to it where if you're a developer or a publisher rather, you want to have your game attached to a system, because every time that system sells, that's a copy of your game sold, and whenever there's too many options available, it's great for the console manufacturer because it's more people buying the game or more people buying their system, but for other people, it's competition. It's not necessarily a guaranteed sale with that game. I think that's what I would focus more on.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Anybody else want to take a stab at that? Anybody?
I'll say I think they'll be right on track. I mean, Sony, for the most part, they do put on a decent show. Not bashing, not fanboying, but I think the whole third-party deals, the fact that they have so many, I think it's just to plug in a couple of holes, because people they're going to be surprised. All these games that people are, for whatever reason, taunting that think are going to come out this year, more than likely are not. Games are probably still at least a year off. So I think Sony's going to just plug in these in certain spots, and it's just going to be part of the show. I don't think Sony has much coming out this year from the first-party perspective, which is okay. I mean, why would you when they have so many, big AAA third-party titles? So I think I think they'll be fine. It won't eat up their time. I think they just go because they don't do the whole indies thing anymore. If you guys notice, they drop that shit like a bad habit. So it's gonna be, they're gonna go big on Destiny. They're gonna go big on Call of Duty and Red Dead. Why wouldn't you? It's Rockstar. That's gets
Gotta
guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they're just gonna use those to cover a few empty spots that they might have, but I think it's just they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make it quick right fast. All right, last year Sony E3 they was like what 15 minutes short. So I'm guessing like them having these 4 big, it's in the big AA blockbuster games, the twos, the Red Dead 2, the Call of Duty 2, woo. So I'm thinking like it ain't gonna mess the E3 up. It's gonna help the E3, like he was saying, fill in some spots and maybe help them get to that 90-minute mark. Because of the games that they got coming out, we already seen them. How much further they can go back to the future. This ain't no Marty McFly. You can't go to the future, come back to the past, go back to the future and change something. So it's no way possible they're gonna do that. So these 4 games is like killing 2 birds with one stone. Is to keep the Microsoft from showing it, and then on top of that, it's gonna help fill in those gaps. And then what I think Microsoft got up their sleeves is that Star Wars. They done messed up with getting that deal again because they went over EA head and went straight to Disney to get that. So EA probably salty about that. They gonna show it on their stage, and they gonna they let Microsoft push the EA access, and by pushing EA access, you push the games that's in the EA access, and that includes Star Wars. So I think Microsoft gonna talk about a lot of Star Wars, and ain't nothing Sony could do about it.
They're already
Good
talking
point.
about Star Wars, and we're going to get to play it first, and people are going to see Scorpio footage all over YouTube a week before anywhere else. So, like,
Yeah,
we're the ones that are going to push these games and stuff, like the content creators and things like that. We're the ones that are going to push Scorpio for them. And the games, like the games, and they're betting on that. That's why there's 4K capture, 60 frames per second capture. You know what I mean? That's why there's all that stuff, because it's really reaching out. And if you listen to Phil's interview he did on Xbox On, he even said that. He's like, it's the people, the YouTubers, you know what I mean? Like, they realize that now. Those are the people that you want to cozy up next to. So not the media. That's why they were like, yeah, they were like, that's why they went to Digital Foundry and not like, I just think that, for me, they're doing things right. They just have to be careful not to like put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's a good point. That's a good point about the Sony conference. So I think they'll be fine. Like you said, it may fill in some gaps because there are some games that are not going to be coming out this year. Obviously, we all know that. Kojima, we'll be lucky to see that game before my son starts college. He's 13. So, there's a few other games. I don't know. Days Gone. I don't think that's going to be this year because they didn't show much from it, but like maybe a couple minutes from like a little bit of a level or something. It looked good. Don't get me wrong. It kind of looked very Last of Us-ish, in my opinion, but all you got to do is give old girl a motorcycle and it's the same game. But anyway, so I think they'll be fine. At the end of the day, I don't think that'll be a problem. I still think they're going to have a great show nonetheless. But looks like I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. We're running a little long today, but it's time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So appreciate everybody coming out and let everybody go ahead and get their plugs in. We'll start with you, Anchor. I know you're doing a lot right now. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yep. You guys can find me on Twitter at AnchormanV2, Xbox, PlayStation, Beam, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. You can find me on there. You also find me on the Inner Circle Network. A bunch of cool little shows and stuff we do Top Shelf, Multiverse on Mondays, and Tick Podcast on Thursdays.
Awesome. Yeah, he does a lot, man. The man's a busy man. So YouTube crap, Mr. World Tour, White Albino Rhino. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Crap Gamer Reviews, and we got MNC Mornings on my channel tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. With Mooch. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. We're giving away a year of EA access on there, so it'll be a good time.
Nice, awesome. And you could probably catch him back here sometime soon, man. It won't be 8-month drought this time. So him and Anchor. It's been even longer for Anchor, so that shit won't happen again for sure. But appreciate you two guys coming on because I know you guys are both ultra busy with like other shows, things like that. So it's always nice to see you guys take your time out to come on my little old show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. So also, Jarhead, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on Twitter, Jarhead2001. The same on Beam. I'm not that great or good at Beam yet, but every now and then I'll do a little, an hour stream just to test it. The same at Xbox Live, Jarhead2001. Almost down to play whatever. I don't have a PlayStation 4. Sorry. So if eventually I get one, it'll probably be the same. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool. And Chuck, let everybody know where they can find you, Chuck.
All right, this is your boy Triple Cup Chuck. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on the Xbox. You can find me on YouTube doing my thing. On Mondays, you can find me on the Gamer Session podcast at Triple Cup, one word, then Chuck. So it's Triple Cup, then it's Chuck. And you can find me here with Blam. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you having me on here. You know, I have fun, enjoy myself. We clown, talk about games, you know, things that we love to do. With everybody out here, you know what I'm saying? It's your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm out.
All right. Well, I am Blam, the host with the most, guys. You know, you can catch me across the board at Blam, PTK Blam, Twitter, PTK Blam here on YouTube. Guys, subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to all these gentlemen's channels also too. Everybody here pretty much has a channel or has something going on. Please follow them, subscribe on Twitter. It's awesome. They have great content, guys, and I highly recommend what they do. So you guys can catch me on Xbox also too. I'll be playing tonight. I may even do some Beam streaming. I did last night, hella late at night, just to kind of test it out and see how it worked out, and it was pretty fun. So I may do that today. I may be on tonight with GKB and She-Wolf playing Black Ops 2. But appreciate you guys coming out. We will be back next Saturday with another guest with more topics, more shit to talk about. So we love you guys. We are out of here for this Saturday. Everybody have a great Saturday evening. Let's get it. Have a good one, everybody.
Later.